By the way, I just found out that she's never, ever, ever getting back together with that guy.
Never, ever, ever. Hey, Michelle Malkin joins us from Colorado Springs. Oh, sorry.
No.
I got a news report. I had to go with it.
At least he's not quoting Justin Bieber, okay? Baby, baby, baby. Oh, baby, let's talk.
Stop!
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Joe Biden. Yesterday, he made some, ever since...
You're just transitioning in and out of yourself. We're not even doing anything. You're just trying to recover from your Bieber comment.
I know.
Yeah.
Michelle, ever since the tragedy up in Connecticut, in Newtown, a lot of people in the administration have been saying, we've got to do something. We've got to have more gun controls. Yesterday, we heard from Sheriff Joe Biden. He sounds like he wants to have the president use an executive order to do something to clamp down on guns. What do you think about this?
Well, if you thought the last 4 years showed how little disregard this administration has for the deliberative process, you ain't seen nothing yet. And that cheesy grin that Joe Biden just can't wipe off his face, even when he's talking about something as dire and as grave and serious as this particular issue, it gives me the chills because that impetus to do something, anything, without the kind of reflection that we need on these kind of issues is very dangerous. And the administrative fiat, the imperial presidency, has had as its hallmark the abuse of the executive order. And wherever there's been a major domestic policy issue that is very contentious, this administration has wielded the executive order to rule by imperial
I just don't know what legally he could do. I mean, the judge was out here before. He said maybe you could put a tax on ammunition that was more than the actual price of the ammo.
Yeah.
I mean, could he come just say unilaterally, executive order, no more assault weapons? What could he do?
Well, why the heck not? I mean, this administration has used the executive order and administrative fiat to completely undermine and sabotage our immigration policy, for example. They've done so many things by executive order on the environment that are radical shifts from where most Americans are. I don't see why anyone would dismiss the kind of extreme measures that people have contemplated in the past. And I think that's what's most dangerous is the way that they couch their rhetoric in what seems to be moderation. Right now they're talking about gun safety instead of gun control. And when they harp about assault weapons or ammunition, what they're really talking about, and we have had this kind of candor before from the gun grabbers, is talking about the kind of handguns that ordinary Americans use to protect themselves.
Sure, exactly. And what they're looking at right now, background checks and things like that. And the fact that they want to have no gun zones around schools. Neither one of those would have probably stopped the tragedy in Sandy Hook because the guns did not belong to the shooter.
Right.
And it was already a no gun zone at that school. We've got a soundbite for everybody to listen to. Here's Bill Clinton and Las Vegas at the Consumer Electronics Show. He now weighing in on guns.
I grew up in this hunting culture, but this is nuts. Why does anybody need a 30 round clip for a gun? Why does anybody need one of those things that carries 100 bullets? A guy in Colorado had one of those. Half of all the mass killings in the United States have occurred since the assault weapons ban expired in 2005. Half of all in the history of the country. Do there need to be some home guards in some schools where there's a high crime rate and the kids themselves may take weapons to school? Absolutely. But it is not an excuse not to deal with this issue.
It's just amazing to me that everybody's focusing on the speed in which the bullets came out of the gun instead of the guy who pulled the trigger and the fact that he had a whole arsenal in his car. They're focusing on the assault weapon or the semi-automatic weapon instead of the three nuts that have perpetrated the worst crimes that we can remember.
Yeah, well, you're making too much sense, Brian, and Steve was making too much sense there too, talking about the futility of so many of these regulations that are now being proposed. Oh, and by the way, I'm sure that the Consumer Electronics Show was really appreciative of that
gun control message.
stem winder by Bill
Fantastic.
Clinton.
Well, and let's, because they really should be addressing video game violence, the impact on
Mental
culture
health.
and Hollywood and everything else. But it
No
does
question.
explain, you know, hearing the administration talking about more clamping down on guns, that's one of the reasons why in a lot of places in this country, the guns are flying off the shelves. Right now, they've got a million, what was it? According to the website House of Guns, 1 million AR-15 magazines on back order. People are afraid the government's
Yeah.
bad for their guns.
And like you said earlier, the government doesn't want, or these people that own the guns don't want to be told by the government that you can't have your guns.
Right. So the gun debate is raging in this country, and we have no idea what's coming out of the pike right directly from the White House. I want to move to another topic now, and it's something I know you're passionate about. One by one, when the president won an election, we heard about the cabinet members, and we heard about the czars that came cascading down. Who are these people?
Yeah.
What do they do? And who's paying them? Where are they now?
Yeah, Nancy DeParle-Min was somebody that I highlighted in Culture of Corruption, and really I keep joking that this could be an encyclopedia series, but she came to light in the public eye for this snitch brigade that she had started under her very special White House Office of Health Reform. Remember, they were collecting information about citizens that they believed were spreading false propaganda, and everybody was wondering what the heck they were going to do with that information. And because of the backlash against this snitch brigade idea, that office was closed in 2011. But she's still bouncing around. It really is dance of the lemons with these people. She's still a top White House advisor. And I think what struck me the most about her was the fact that this was somebody who demonized the healthcare industry in her offices of government. She actually came out of the Clinton administration, where she ran the Medicaid and Medicare program, but then turned around and parlayed that public stint into a very lucrative private sector experience. This is a multi-millionaire who has cut lots of backroom deals with the healthcare sector during the Obamacare debacle.
Sure.
And goodness knows what these people are doing behind the scenes even now.
Well,
Definitely need more sunlight.
She's no longer a czar, as we were categorizing the czars, but we understand she is now currently an assistant to the president and White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. And by the way, she's married to a New York Times reporter.
That's right.
All right, Michelle, moving on to another topic. There is a lawsuit that is accusing an Obama appointee of covering up embezzlement at a major labor union. You want to tell us about this and give us your opinion?
Yeah, here's the culture of corruption again. This is Richard Griffin, who, by the way, his whole nomination to the NLRB was steeped in corruption and dirty politics, because he never had to go through the formal confirmation process, never had to go through background checks. And now there is a lawsuit accusing him of embezzlement, conspiracy, the usual kind of big labor, brass knuckles, dirty politics. It's rather soap opera dramatics, because backed up somebody who was involved in one of these embezzlement schemes. Union. This is petrochemicals and pipeline company, and I think there are a lot of Republicans on Capitol Hill who object.
Barely once.
Who are now saying, "I told you."
The way you have to describe things, not good for an administration. Michelle Malkin, always a pleasure. Have a great week. We'll see you next week out in
bet.
Colorado.
Bye, Michelle. Thank you.
Take care.
And go Broncos, right?
Bye. Absolutely.